Good afternoon, everyone. Mario Quintero here with the One Stop Shop, produced by marioshomenews.com for our weekly happy hour podcast regarding different topics on finance, real estate, and just life in general. So today we're going to talk about tax preparation. The IRS tax preparation season is here. CPAs, bookkeepers, TurboTax, everybody is real busy right now. H&R Block, everyone's real busy. So I want to take you through kind of like a progression of what we think and we usually talk to our clients about regarding how much help the client needs or will need in order to have the best tax preparation available depending on the stage of life that you're in. So if you're right now in your college age and you're living at home and you're still going to school, maybe you got a part-time job, or maybe you have a full-time job plus you're going to college full-time, right now during that stage of life, TurboTax is probably the best way to go because you are probably a W-2 employee, making some money, having some expenses, and TurboTax is probably the way to go unless you're a big-time entrepreneur at this stage in life. Then we definitely recommend you get a CPA. So these are all recommendations. They're not etched in stone. They're just suggestions that we discuss with our clients. So once you, let's say, go into your career phase, whether you just graduated from college or you graduated from a trade school, something like that, at that point, you're already maybe in your early to mid 20s. We definitely recommend that you should have minimum a bookkeeper to assist you with your tax preparation. Tax laws are changing very quickly. They change from year to year, and you really need that special guidance in order to help you maximize the deductions that you can have in order to minimize your tax liability. By the age of 30, you probably may have already acquired a home. Your salary has started to increase. You may have other expenses. You may have acquired, different assets and things like that. By the age of 30, we highly recommend that you start creating a relationship with a CPA. The difference between a CPA and a bookkeeper is basically the level of education that a CPA has is a lot higher than that of a bookkeeper, and each one has its own usefulness depending on where you are with your tax returns. Personally, we have both. We have a bookkeeper that maintains everything for us, and at the end of the year, like I did today, we meet with our CPA, and he's the one that files our tax returns. And I'll talk to you about that relationship and how that relationship has evolved over the years. If you're an entrepreneur or you're self-employed, we highly recommend that you have a relationship with a CPA, because now not only do you have your business tax returns, but you also have your personal tax returns, and they can get a little bit complicated, and you need the professional advice of a CPA in that matter. Once again, tax laws are changing quickly. In speaking with our CPA today, I was there for several hours. Just to give you an example, our CPA gives us a questionnaire, which is about, I want to say it's about 10 pages long. That has evolved from like a 7-page questionnaire to a 10-page questionnaire. And a lot of those questions just keep getting added on because of changes in the laws and just a lot of different things that will juggle your mind as you're saying yes or no to the questionnaire. Our relationship with our CPA started back in 1991. So we've had the same CPA now for 31 years. He knows us like an open book. We know him. We're very comfortable together. And not only do I meet with him during tax season, but during the year, if I have questions on anything related to the business or personal, or prior to making a decision on anything financial, I usually contact him via email or I call him and I ask him those questions. I see a lot of people when we're doing mortgages that make financial decisions without ever asking a professional that could give them the right advice, and then to undo that decision, it's probably more expensive than if they would have had somebody they would have spoken to originally and gotten the right advice. So having the right tax advice from a CPA or a bookkeeper is extremely important. So record keeping. Record keeping is very important, and every person should have a system that they feel comfortable with, because you got to maintain these records for up to 7 years. Okay, so it's critical. And if you get audited at any time, you're going to need to be able to supply the records that correspond to that year's tax returns. I got to tell you, back in 2009, I was audited for the first time for both personal and business. And that audit took 3 years. Okay, in the end, everything was exactly the way it was supposed to be. I had no penalties, everything was fine. And the agent that dealt with our CPA, I never met the IRS agent. That's another good reason to have a CPA, because if you get audited, you don't want to be the direct contact with the IRS agent. You want the CPA to be able to handle that. So one of the things that helped us a lot during that 3-year process was having excellent record keeping. And I keep files specifically by year for personal and business. And if I need an original receipt, it's there. If I wired some funds from one account to the other, the receipts are there. The paper trail has to be good in order for you to be able to have a successful audit. And anyone can be audited. You know, how they pick them or whatever, I don't know. But I got to tell you, I don't want to go through another one, even though all I was doing was supplying the information. And that was just emphasized how important it is to have good record keeping. So the accounting professional basically is there to enhance the way your returns are done, and also to maximize the positive returns that you're either going to receive money back or minimize the amount of money that you have to pay for that year. So one of the things that is critical when you're applying for a mortgage loan, which is what we see a lot of these problems with, is once we start the mortgage process, is that the clients we have that are more organized usually have a faster way to get through the processing of their mortgage loan. They usually tend to have a higher credit score, and they usually tend to have everything in place. The people that keep records in a shoebox, disorganized, and stuff all over the place, and maybe stuff at home, stuff at the office, stuff in their car, okay? Those people tend to have a lower credit score, and their process takes a lot longer, okay, to get through the mortgage process. So keep that in mind, that your record keeping is very important, not only for your tax returns, but it's also very important in your mortgage financing, especially if not only do you plan to purchase a primary home, but maybe later on you plan to buy an investment property, a second investment property. These things become more critical as you acquire more assets. So Once you start your mortgage process, there are definitely some items that are definitely do not do, okay? Because you do not want to negatively impact your mortgage process. So you don't want to add any new credit cards once you start your mortgage application or once you're into the mortgage. You don't want to buy any new furniture on credit. I don't care if you see the best President's Day sale this coming week, don't get into new furniture via credit. Don't buy new appliances. This is a big weekend for sales on appliances. If you're getting ready to buy a home or you're already in the process, don't buy any new appliances. BrandSmart giving 24, 36 months interest free. Don't buy it. You gotta wait. Don't get into a new car loan. Okay, we got the boat show this weekend. Don't buy a boat. Don't buy a jet ski. Don't buy a mobile home. All of these things will affect your credit and your ability to get approved for a mortgage loan. So today, this is going to be the final part of our show. If you think that this information that you heard today can help a family member or friend, feel free to share this video to them and hopefully they'll get some benefit of it. If not, always feel free to give me a call here in the office at 305-598-1600 or on my cell at 305-588-0451. Thanks for tuning in and make it a great weekend.